Good morning, everyone. We are filming at our brand new partner, Frankfort Toyota, to check out the brand new Toyota Corolla Hatchback. If you are looking for a new Corolla or any other Toyota, be sure to stop by or click the link to their website, which we have provided in the video description. So the hatchback is offered in only two trim levels, SE and XSE, and we have the SE trim in Midnight Black Metallic. But of course, we will also be covering the XSE as well. So after many years of messing around with the Matrix, Scion IM, and then Corolla IM, the Corolla Hatchback is back. So let's go ahead and check it out. Getting started here with the exterior design, it follows in the footsteps of the old IM by offering a sportier design than what you find in the sedan. Our hatch has a cool stealth look to it thanks to the black paint job. But with other colors, the giant black grille really stands out. It looks similar to the Avalon, which is to say very aggressive, and both trims get it with the only alteration being a silver outline on the XSE. Accenting the bold grille are really sleek headlights that are entirely LED. That means even the base model gets the 3 LED running lights, LED low and high beams, plus an LED turn signal. That's very unusual for the class, and the XSE would even have LED fog lights as well. Now the next generation of the Corolla sedan is still under development, but the Corolla hatch is based on the European Auris. From the side, I can definitely see the European influence, and it only becomes more distinct as we move to the rear. It is a big departure from the IM, having wider hips and then lots of body lines to accentuate the slender LED taillights. Finally, at the bottom, you have some fake exhaust tips, and the actual exhaust is hidden behind the bumper. Overall, I think this is one of the best renditions of Toyota's new face, and it looks more upscale than the price tag suggests. Now moving on to the wheels, they are actually smaller than the IMs last year, but only on this SE trim. These are 16-inch alloys with a silver painted finish, while the XSE gets much bolder 18-inch alloys with a dark gray contrast design. While these are fine looking wheels, the 18s really make the design pop. Coming up to the mirrors, they are always heated, though they don't have the old IM's power folding abilities. Additionally, CVT XSEs have standard blind spot monitoring, and SE CVTs have it as an option. And on the topic of safety, the Corolla hatch is actually the first Toyota to come with Safety Sense 2.0. It includes all the same stuff that it used to, but with the addition of adaptive cruise that works all the way to a stop, a system that reads road signs, low light pedestrian detection, and a lane tracing assist system that keeps you centered in your lane. Those new systems, plus the existing pre-collision braking, auto high beams, and lane keeping assist, make for an unprecedented level of standard equipment in the class. The last place we'll visit is the fuel tank. It is reasonably sized at 13.2 gallons, which is good for a range of 475 miles as equipped, falling to 409 miles with the manual transmission. Well, that concludes the stylish exterior, so now let's see if the interior has the same vibe. So right off the bat, there's a big improvement over the Corolla IM, and that's that you now have standard smart entry where it previously wasn't available at all. Additionally, you can remote start from the Entune app. To unlock the door, there is a sensor behind the handle, so just grab it. So first, looking inside the 2019 Corolla Hatchback, as you can see, there's a new modern design that bears no resemblance to the outgoing IM. Now as far as your color choices, there are only two. You can get this black, or a really unique moonstone color, which is basically white. Additionally, the seats are cloth on this SE, or leather trimmed on the XSE. Now turning over here to the door trim, it is impressively nice since Toyota includes leatherette on the armrest even for models with the cloth seats. You also have really nice looking contrast stitching on it, as well as above it in this plastic part, which is soft touch. Additionally, you do have one-touch automatic windows for all four, which is something you usually don't find in the class. Now coming down to your seats, they are manually adjusting on the SE and power adjusting on the XSE. And then like I already mentioned, the XSE would have leather trimming on the sides and then a cloth in the middle. This does feel very durable, and you still have some contrast stitching even on the SE. So first, getting inside the Corolla Hatchback, it really makes a good first impression since everything looks really premium. And once you start touching the materials, they are actually premium. All of your upper dash is made from a really high quality soft touch plastic. And then in the middle, you have even softer plastic with a real stitching detail that travels all through the middle. That detail carries over down at the bottom, and then even the areas that are hard feel really solidly put together. So overall, big improvement in the materials. Now every Corolla hatchback comes standard with push button ignition, so just put your foot on the brake and press to start. When you fire it up, you will be greeted by an 8-inch display on both trims, which is again something you don't usually find in this class. So just like every other part of the car, of course the gauges do have a new look for 2019. Now this is the base setup that comes on the SE, and it features mostly analog gauges with a 4.2-inch multifunction display on the right hand side. If you went for the XSE, you'd get a 7-inch display which would take up the entire center portion. Regardless though, both screens do have the same kind of information, so you still have your basic stuff like your miles per hour, your safety systems, trip information, etc. Now coming back to the steering wheel, it is electric power on both models, and both models also come with this nice leather wrapped steering wheel. This does have your typical buttons like most Toyotas, so these are for your gauge display, then you've got your audio, voice, and phone controls, and then this side is for the standard adaptive cruise control and more audio buttons. You will also find paddles on models with the CVT, and this allows you to shift through 10 simulated gears. Lastly, the steering wheel is manually tilt and telescoping. Now moving on to storage, the Corolla hatchback does have more than you would expect of a car in this class. To start out with, you do have a really deep and nicely sized center console with felt lining in the bottom. And inside of here you will also find a 12-volt outlet and a higher voltage charging USB port. While we're looking at this, I do want to mention that it is leather wrapped with contrast stitching, and it also adjusts in case you're a shorter person. In front of that you find 2 cup holders, and then up top here there's another big area with a grippy texture as well to hold your smartphone in place. Now it is also worth mentioning that Toyota hides another USB port and an aux jack over here on the side where you really can't see it. Now coming back to the shifter, this is just a traditional shifter and it is nicely leather wrapped on both trims. For drive, of course, you just pull back to the D, and then you can push to the left to shift manually over here, or again using the paddle shifters. When you go into reverse, a nice backup camera will appear on both trims. It does not have active trajectory, but the resolution does look pretty nice. Now I don't know if you could hear that on camera, but that little whining noise is the sound of the automatic parking brake activating. Now there are several other cars in the class that do have an electronic parking brake, but the last car I was in that does it automatically was a Lexus, so that's a nice touch. Then off to the side you do have a brake hold feature as well. In front of the shifter you will find a traction control off button, and then the button to activate the sport mode. Moving on up, we've got the single zone automatic setup that comes on the SE, or the XSE would get a dual zone automatic setup. Now the controls here are really simple. You just twist this knob to adjust the temperature, press this button to adjust the zones, and then this adjusts the fan speed. Everything does appear right here, so you don't have to go into the display to check for any settings. So overall, I really like this setup. Now let's go ahead and sample the standard 6-speaker audio system that comes on both trims. Overall sound quality has definitely improved from last year, but if that's still not enough, the XSE does have an optional 8-speaker 800-watt JBL sound system available. And now that brings us to the Entune 3.0 system, so let's go ahead and take a quick look. So unlike the old IM, which didn't even get Entune, the new Corolla Hatchback has the newest version of Entune 3.0. Like I already mentioned, you do have a standard 8-inch display, which is very big for the class. And then you've got your physical buttons along the side, including physical volume and tuning. Now getting started with the system, this is your home screen. And you can click on any of these sections to jump straight into it. So starting off with your Bluetooth audio, you can play and pause straight from here. Going into your menu, this is where all your other applications live. So next up we have phone. So in here by default, you'll go straight to your contacts, which have automatically synced over from your smartphone. If you have a bunch of them, you can also search as well. Text message support is included, and this will just show you all of your messages. It will read them aloud to you, and then you can click here to reply with some pre-made quick messages, and they can be customized as well if you're in park. This is where you'll find your Entune apps, which will start up when you plug in your smartphone through the USB port. Now these are just the apps that you're used to seeing in Toyotas, but the big deal this year is the addition of Apple CarPlay and Amazon Alexa. Now when you plug in your iPhone, it would appear right here, and you can go into that, including using the navigation functions. Now in this car you can get dynamic navigation, but you have to option it on to the XSE. The last thing I want to point out is that when you go down to the bottom of the settings, you will find Wi-Fi. This is included on both trims, and it is powered by Verizon, and you do get a trial period. And then if you're looking for the password, you'll find it right in here, and of course you can change it to something that's not so long and hard to remember. But other than that, that pretty much concludes the Entune system. But if you want to see a really detailed tutorial, then be sure to check out our dedicated tech help video. A link to that is provided in the video description. Moving on up, you do have a manually dimming mirror. And then you'll also find your SOS button, which is located under this shell. Now since this is the SE, we are lacking a moonroof, but one does come on the XSE. But overall, I have to say I am really impressed by the cabin of the Corolla Hatchback. As equipped, this vehicle only cost $22,000. Yet it has a really classy and luxurious vibe that a lot of competitors are missing. So overall, I really like it. Now I'll go ahead and hand it off to Mason, who will finish off the rest of the cabin. The back door trim of the Corolla Hatchback is made of mostly the same materials as the front. You've got a leather padding where your arm will rest, but above it is hard touch plastic. You have a silver painted door handle, and surprisingly your window is fully automatic. Additionally, there is a little cup holder here. Now as far as space is concerned in the Corolla Hatchback, you will find a little less legroom than most of its competitors. You're going to find 29.9 inches of legroom and 38 inches of headroom. Additionally, there is a little cup holder here. Now as far as space is concerned in the Corolla Hatchback, you will find a little less legroom than most of its competitors. You're going to find 29.9 inches of legroom and 38 inches of headroom.
Like I said, that is a little less than the Civic hatchback. Your seats are a nice cloth design. They are pretty comfortable. In the middle, you're not going to find any vents or anything, but you do have this nice storage cubby. Toyota was nice enough to include this armrest and has 2 additional cup holders inside. Up top, you do have some lighting, a really nice headliner, and an assist grip and coat hook. Now behind Drew's seating position, I actually have plenty of space. You'll find around 8 inches of legroom, and my feet can easily slide up under the seat. Sliding over, even with the seat all the way back, I still have enough legroom to be comfortable. So overall, even though the Corolla hatchback might be a little smaller than some of the competitors, it has all the features I would expect, and the seats are really comfortable. The rear seats do fold 60-40 split, so just grab this little handle back here, and they will fold right down. Coming around to the hatch, it's not power or anything, so just grab this button under the lid. Once inside, you're going to find around 18 cubic feet of space, and that's with the seats up. With them folded, it's a lot more space, but Toyota didn't give the exact measurement. Underneath the cargo floor, you are going to find a full-size spare tire. It's actually quite big, and along the sides, you do have plenty of storage. Additionally, Toyota did provide a cargo cover. Of course, the passenger seat is manually adjusting. In front of the passenger, you do have nice materials with this nice stitching design. The glove box is also dampened and quite large. Up top, you have a sun visor and light, as well as an extension. Well guys, that pretty much sums up all we have to cover up here, so let's go ahead and get to the powertrain. Alright, so under the hood of the Corolla hatchback, you're going to find a 2-liter dynamic force 4-cylinder engine, and it produces 168 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. That's up 31 horsepower over last year's IM, and surprisingly there is a 6-speed manual standard on both trims, and a CVT is optional.
Now both your transmissions are a little unique. On your 6-speed manual, you actually have rev matching both on upshifting and downshifting, so that's pretty unique. And then with your CVT, the first gear is real, and then after that, the CVT kicks in. As far as the CVT, it does get 10 simulated gear changes, which you can control via the paddle shifters.
For fuel economy, it's right around average for the class. For the CVT, you're going to get 32 city, 42 highway, 36 combined for the SE trim. And it does get reduced a lot for the XSE trim, down to 33 combined. However, if you opt for the manual transmission, both trim levels will come in at the same fuel economy at 31 combined. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed watching one of the first in-depth looks at the 2019 Toyota Corolla Hatchback SE. Stay watching for a quick overview of the pricing, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.